Hi and welcome. So, this is my 50K training series. I'm smushing week 11 and week 12 together for the recap just because there wasn't a whole lot of running and it seemed kind of silly to make a whole video about me not running. So, we're going to make a video of me not running for pretty much 2 weeks. But yeah, so let's kind of dive in and figure out, what's going on. I'll walk you through kind of how these 2 last weeks have gone. So, March 21st, which was what, 2 Saturdays ago now, was my last run. And I ran 3 miles on the treadmill at the gym. Easy miles, super simple. Just, I didn't have symptoms. And I felt pretty okay. So then I didn't do anything until that Tuesday, the following Tuesday. So that would have been March 24th. And I just did a lift. I believe it was leg day. I don't actually remember. But I'm pretty sure it was leg day. Now, at this time, not last week or like this week, the week before, so the week after the 21st, I was experiencing symptoms. I had done a stress test on the 20th because I'd seen my cardiologist on the 19th. Just because we're trying to figure out all these symptoms and figure out like what is the cause, if I have to stop running, or if I can continue running, and all those things. So saw the cardiologist, set up a stress test. I'm fit, I'm super amazing, whatever. Passed the stress test with like glowing numbers or colors or whatever you want to call it. Which is great. That's great. My heart's fine, blood flow's fine. Love to hear it. Slightly frustrating because that's not helping me with my symptoms and like giving me an answer. So because of that, the stress test kind of aggravated a lot of things. So that's why when I ran on the 21st, on that Saturday, I didn't really experience any symptoms, but throughout the day, I had experienced more and more symptoms. And that's where I was like, okay, cool. So that Sunday, the 22nd, I chilled at home. I read a book on my deck for like 3 hours in the sun. It was a little chilly, so I had a blanket. But other than that, like I couch bounded myself. I was like, okay, it's not your heart. It's, not your lungs. You can breathe, right? But maybe it's inflammation. That was another thing the cardiologist was talking about. So because of that, I was like, okay, rest is what you need. No more testing runs. No more, crazy things. We're just gonna sit down and be a couch potato. So that's why I read for like 3 hours on my deck on the 22nd. And then throughout the week, that's why I only lifted legs because I felt like if I could lift, that'd be okay. Your heart rate's not that high. And as long as there was no even hint of symptoms, I'd be fine. So that was fine. And then by Wednesday, I'm like going out of my mind. I haven't ran since Saturday, and that's only a couple days, but I was like, no. So I was like, can't do anything. I went for a walk. Went for a mile walk. Super easy, super simple. Totally fine. Same thing Thursday, just to do something. Then I didn't do anything for pretty much a week. I just kind of chilled and did nothing until this Thursday that just happened. I did another lift just because I was like, I'm going insane. I have not done anything. And I'm panicking and crying about like if I'm even going to be able to run this race, and trying to like realistically look at it like, does this make sense still with this question mark? Like nobody has told me I can't run yet. Nobody has told me that my symptoms are concerning enough that running isn't a thing I should be doing. So I've kind of just been, taking off. There's a whole note on my phone that is like detailed every single time I have a symptom, what's going on, what the symptom is, about how long it's lasting, what I'm doing, all that stuff, just so I can provide my doctors with it and be like, hey, what the hell's going on? So then this Thursday I did a lift, and I also did one Friday, just to move my body. There was no symptoms. We were great. So yesterday I met with a friend to go for a hike, and we went on a hike about 4 miles, 4.5 miles, and then we went and grabbed coffee after. A little fact about me and my friend is we will sit and drink our coffee and talk for hours. I think we spent like 5 hours total together yesterday between the hike and the coffee. But yeah, so, and then today I got up this morning and ran 2 very easy miles, just kind of like testing the waters. So far, I'm feeling great. I'm following up with my doctors later next week, so hopefully to figure out, like, as long as I'm not experiencing symptoms, I should be fine. Or maybe there's more tests we can do to figure out what this is. Because one of the things where it could just be inflammation, and maybe just taking that week and a half of doing pretty much nothing healed it. I don't really know. Not a doctor. But yeah. So really, week 11 and week 12, the plan was thrown into the trash because my health comes first. And in the grand scheme of things, when I was crying about maybe having to not do this race, we would still go to the race because I roped my brother into running this with me. So he would still be running it, and I did already rent out the Airbnb. So we would still, make a weekend out of it, regardless if I'm running or not, which is great. Still sad. I don't know yet. I'm still there isn't any big red flags yet, or anything the doctors are telling me that I can't run it. And until that happens, I'm kind of just listening to my body, feeling how I think should go, like how it should go. And talking with my husband and kind of talking it over, okay, what makes the most sense is really what I'm going for right now until I'm told by a doctor I can't run. Nothing concerning, so don't worry, guys, I'm not gonna keel over or anything. But yeah, so that's week 11 and week 12. We're moving into week 13. That means there's 7 weeks left, which is terrifying, but I'm not worried yet. I guess maybe it's delusional. But I was having pretty decently high mileage weeks, and just increasing slowly, and I was confident until these symptoms started. So as long as I can just ease myself back into the training plan, it's obviously not going to be, I'm not going to be probably where I want to be for the race, but I'm not going to be racing in a dumb way. I'm not going to just race regardless of how I feel. The way I'm planning to do this, if I'm still allowed to run, is to slowly ease in this week and next week back into the program, mileage back up. That's going to include a lot of cross training just to get the miles back up to speed without with all that impact. So that's kind of my plan. Ease back into it and then keep going as long as I'm allowed to. And as we get closer to race day, kind of assess my fitness. Can I do this realistically? Am I confident? I'm not going to injure myself. That's pretty much what we're assessing as we get closer, because that's the most important part. It's can you race safely? If you can't, then maybe you shouldn't. And that's really how I'm going about this. It's not ideal. I'm not really happy about this whole situation. It's my first 50K. It's my first trail race. I'm really excited about this. I've been planning all year, and the end of last year, all around this race because I've been so excited about it. And now that it may or may not happen is really sad and hard to think about. So I'm just doing what I can, listening to my body, listening to my doctors, and seeing how this all works. So week 13, slow and steady, working our way back towards a full week of running. Next week's recap will just be week 13, and it'll be more in-depth on everything I did every day throughout the week. But yeah, so that's all I have, and catch you next week.